Hello and welcome to the Big Man Up Golf, the only podcast covering all 4 days of the Open Championship at Royal Birkdale. What a weekend in store we've got for you. Will Scotty Scheffler do it, the world number one? Or is this Rory McIlroy's time to win it for the second time? Incredible storylines here in the golf. We're going to cover all of the action for you here.
Ed!
On the Big Man Up Golf podcast.
Ed, what are you doing?
Sorry, there appears to be a ruffian on the course here at Royal, but can we get the security to take him away, please? Yep, great, thank you. Of course, the green's in excellent condition.
No, Ed, stop it. No, turn off the music.
What?
No, we're not doing golf. We're not doing golf, Ed.
Why not?
We've still got to cover the World Cup.
It's the only sport that matters.
No, it's not. We've got a World Cup final, a bronze final to go.
No, I don't think we do. Look, there's excellent things happening in the world of sport this weekend, Tom.
No, it's all. We've got to cover the football, Ed. It's our football podcast.
Why? Why do we?
Because it's the big man up top, Ed. England's out, but they've still got a game to play. I mean, come on, you can't be in denial about this.
Okay, we'll do it together.
Yeah, we'll play the proper music, and we'll do the episode.
We'll play the music. Hello and welcome to the podcast that doesn't care about the bronze final or whatever nonsense it's called. It's the Big Man Up Top.
It certainly is. I'm not okay.
when none of us are okay, Tom. We're so not okay, Joe's not even here.
No, he's in Switzerland.
He's in Switzerland.
I don't know if I should feel like good for Joe, lucky him, or it might be worse to be in Switzerland.
I think getting us far away from these isles. I've got a holiday to North Wales to look forward to. So
yeah, but hey, that's much easier for you now.
It's great. I'm genuinely delighted that I don't have the drama of England being in a final to deal with, to cope with.
I've just got to sit in my flat alone in despair.
Yeah. So this is going to be our sort of breakdown of last night. We're going to try not to break down.
Yeah.
Whilst breaking down England's crushing, heartbreaking defeat to Argentina. Tom and I, we're going to look at the 5 stages of grief, aren't we?
are. We've just done denial.
Yeah. And we're going to look at anger, bargaining, depression and acceptance, but also, I think, a 6th angle.
Yeah.
It's not one of the stages of grief, but, as people of faith, we have to bring hope into the conversation, don't we?
We really have to.
Because there's nothing else.
There's got to be hope.
There's got to be some hope somewhere. So we're going to look at, what it means to be a grieving England fan. A mere, 13, 14 hours after, as we record this, after England have gone out.
So cross with you.
Why?
Because if it wasn't for you and this podcast, I wouldn't have cared right now.
You'd been none the wiser.
Oh well, F1's at the weekend, and instead, this is awful. This is the most grief I think I've felt in a long, long time.
I think we should start with where we were watching it. What was your setup, Tom, for watching this game last night?
I was sitting in my flat. I just had a nice chili.
Right, yeah, good.
And I was sat there. I had a couple of friends that I was, messaging to, and of course I was messaging you as well, Ed. And it was just the first half an hour. I was sat there on my sofa, just like, come on, guys. You can do this.
The whole experience is very intense. We'll come on to the game shortly. We're gonna play through the game and what happened. I was at home. I'd made the decision to watch this game with my family.
Oh, that's lovely.
So my wife and youngest daughter don't care that much about the football, but obviously, getting into it at this stage. My eldest daughter, who is a big football nut, and I were much more invested.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where it sounds awful. I didn't want to be separate from my daughter when England got knocked out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because this was her.
To be there
I knew
her.
This was going to be her first major World Cup that she'll remember. That the first disappointment. And look, it's a sort of a trauma we all have to go through as England fans. And so I wanted to make sure that I was with her when England got knocked out. And this was the moment I was like, no, we can't we can't do this in a fan park. We can't.
No.
We can't be separate. We need to make sure we watch this together. So yes. So I was just with my family at home. Should we find out where Joe was?
Yeah, I want to know.
Oh, hi, Ez. As discussed, you've sent me to Switzerland, and yeah, we got the wrong country. Turns out England are playing Argentina, but I find myself in a quite lovely fan zone in Geneva, or maybe not in Geneva. There's a big old lake, so I'm assuming Geneva. Look, the vibes are good. I'm by a man who's wearing an EFL shirt, but he's covered it up with an England flag. Maybe you can help me determine who it is, but it had Quist on the back, C-U-I-S-T. Definitely EFL. Quist, I think it's number 2 or number 7. Yeah, vibes are good. There's a few people in messy shirts, which is concerning. I'd like to think we're all supporting England here today because of, what happened in the quarters. But I'll keep you updated. Vibes are good.
Vibes are good in this Swiss park. I couldn't find any footballers named Quist. So
is it one of those shirts you think that they've just put their own name on the back of it?
Yeah, quite possibly. I remember the EFL highlights being on the channel Quest at some point. So maybe it's just a really odd
big mix-up
homage to that. But yes, so Joe's in the fan park. Safe to say, loving life.
Yeah.
Okay, commentaries in French. But I think I'm alright with that. It's a nice twist. John Stones. Breaking news. Gianni Infantino booed in Swiss fan zone. Of course, he is from Switzerland, so who knew what his reception would be, but a unanimous distaste for Gianni Infantino here in his home country, Switzerland.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it, to hear that in a Swiss fan park, Gianni Infantino booed.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me too much, I'll be honest.
No, it's not massive.
It's tough to get behind him, I'm sure.
But look, Joe's clearly in a lovely place there before the game. Let's talk through that first half in particular. It was really tense, wasn't it? But I feel like it sort of, that first half had pretty much everything that we were expecting. First of all, what I would say is a little bit of the dark arts, shall we say, from the Argentinian players.
It was nasty. It was Elliot Anderson particularly.
Seemed
to just be getting fouled on every 30 seconds, sorry. It was just bizarre. Every time he got tackled by an Argentinian player, he was on the ground, and I think that's partly Elliot Anderson putting his body in the right place relative to the ball. Yeah. But also just Argentina were scrappy.
It was, and look, we expected that. That's how the Argentinians come to play. That's how we've expected them to play. The great thing I would say about England in that moment is that they didn't rise to it.
Yeah.
They clearly thought, well, there's one or two players that can be got at here, Jude Bellingham being one of them. But it's we all think about France 98 before you were born, Tom. We all think about France 98 and Beckham. It was the same thing then. The Argentinian players trying to wind up the English players. Beckham getting riled up and lashing out, and that being the thing that cost us the game. And so I was really proud of the England team that they didn't rise to that, and I think that in terms of the way we played as well, it was calm, it was collected, it looked solid as well. We
had some good possession in the first half.
Absolutely. Again, it was tense. It was like a chess game, but I didn't think we looked like we were going to concede.
No, we looked strong. We looked really, really strong, and there was a couple of times that we were kind of running it into the box a little bit, and I almost thought that could be a chance. You've said it before, Anthony Gordon, even with Messi in the same game, he said, does sometimes pull out a bit of that kind of fancy footwork. He tries to take on multiple defenders.
Anthony Gordon is not as good as Messi, but he's a similar kind of player in that he sort of glides along the pitch a little bit. He stays out wide and then causes problems from there. What I would say is that I think the most joy that we had was down our left-hand side. Yeah. Particularly Jed Spence and Anthony Gordon. I think two of the probably outstanding players in this game.
Jed Spence somebody needs to give that man a statue.
Oh,
or something like that.
incredible performance, offensively and defensively, crucially. The halftime whistle came, and I think we could all sort of say, we're on course. Mission accomplished up to that point. We're still in the game. Look strong. Let's hear the report from Joe at halftime in the fan park.
Well, Ed, half-time is here. The vibes are high here in Switzerland. People here love Jed Spence. Every time we get on the ball, it's Jed Spence and it's Jude Bellingham. Clearly the two heartthrobs of the Swiss nation. Biggest cheer of the first half was when the ref decided he could actually book an Argentinian player. That went down very well. Other than that, just a lovely time. What a lovely sunset as well, Ed.
Wow.
It's nice to know that he's got his priorities. The sunset. I was at one point in that first half struggling to remember to breathe, but apparently, Joe's able to take in the sunset.
He's very relaxed.
Yeah, exactly. But he was right though in the sense that eventually a card did come out for an Argentinian player, and it was long overdue, wasn't it?
But it was nice to see the ref making those decisions. To be fair, I was, there's been a lot of conspiracy around this World Cup, especially around Argentina, and to be fair, the ref made some good calls, in my opinion.
And then, sort of, as we've then gone into the second half, of course, England make the breakthrough, and I think that was all part of the initial plan was keep it tight, remain solid, attack when we need to. And you could tell like the press was working because we weren't pressing the whole time, but we would just sort of explode in this press and then sit back and be solid. And we picked our moment. Really, really lovely goal made by Morgan Rogers and scored by Anthony Gordon.
Princess Diana. A fantastic touch into the goal. I saw that. I thought, wow, that's a really quality goal. And it was lots of finesse from Anthony Gordon to get it in. And then, of course, he got taken off not long afterwards, didn't he? Which I think actually was a good decision. At the time, I thought like he's got that goal. Otherwise, he was kind of getting the ball into the box and then getting it tackled away from him. I didn't think he was crossing it in really and making that many chances. So I thought actually that's a really good decision.
Well, I think what I would say is that England and Tuchel got everything right up until the second hydration break, and I think that's when it sort of started to fall apart. But I wonder how the goal went down in Switzerland. Ooh. Tom.
Wow, it's a popular goal here in Vevey, Ed. It's gone off. Well, there's a long way to go, but huge, absolutely huge. Well, Ed, hydration break is here. The question on the lips of, I guess, every resident of the Vevey, Switzerland fan park. Everyone in the break has turned to each other and asked, is it too early to bring Dan Burn on? I think we've all decided absolutely not. Bring him on right now.
So as Joe alluded to there, the goal comes, we get to the hydration break, and I think there's a change that needs to be made. There's a decision that needs to be made. You discussed Anthony Gordon coming off. Joe discussed Dan Burn coming on. And for me, look, I know it's easy to say in hindsight, and we were talking about the stages of grief, and the second stage of grief is anger, isn't it? And I think there are going to be angry or at least frustrated England fans because at this point, in my opinion, I think a decision has been made by Thomas Tuchel that I think he got wrong. And I think this is the first major decision he has got wrong in the tournament. Tactically, Tuchel has been superb. Look at the way the way we defeated Mexico. We wouldn't have got through Mexico, I don't think, without Tuchel's tactical prowess there. But in this instance, he has decided to it's a stick or twist situation. He has gone, right, do we try and hold what we have, or do we try and take the game to Argentina? And he's opted for the defensive. Let's bring on additional defenders, let's sit back. And I think with half an hour to go, I think that was the worst decision he could have made.
It was, and it seemed really, I don't know, with the Mexico game in mind, we held on to that, but we kind of had to because we were 10 men down, and it was definitely the right choice. But in this situation, I just think, I don't know what pushed him to think like that.
Well, I wonder if it's essentially that, look, when we had to hold on to a lead in Mexico, we did. When we had to hold on to a lead against Norway, we did. And I think that that's probably been a part of his thinking.
Yeah.
Is he's thought, right, well, let's just do the same. The trouble is two things. Number one, he has built this team to be brave and, have the ball.
Yeah.
And I think that that's ultimately what it was that I think we've taken the unbrave decision. What's the opposite of brave? The cowardly.
Cowardly decision.
I think it is the safe decision. May I say the decision that some previous England managers would have made, rather than being brave and having faith in the fact that we could hold on to the ball, that we could bring the ball into the Argentina half. And yes, it might have been hairy, but the other option is essentially that we give Messi the ball at free rein at 35 yards from goal to try and unpick the England defence, and there is no greater player in the world at doing that. And so hindsight is a wonderful thing. What I will say is that, if I'm honest, I felt it, and I think most England fans would say
Absolutely.
that, is that the second that these defenders all came on, you just knew, this is probably not going to end well, and if we get through, it will be by the skin of our teeth. And the manner of it was heartbreaking, though, wasn't it? It'd gotten right through to the 85th minute before the equaliser came in, and you just thought, come on.
That's going to be tough. I was thinking that maybe when that equaliser did come in, I was like, well, maybe we hunker down even more. We get even more defensive, and we take it to penalties, and maybe we've got a chance. And I have to admit, like Joe did, I did kind of cheer when Dan Burn come on, just because I love Dan Burn.
Yeah, we all do.
And you wanted, like, with Messi being so small, Dan Burn being so huge, you think, that's a real David and Goliath situation. But hang on, David wins that matchup.
There's a really sort of odd situation here, and I talked about anger and frustration. Is that usually when England go out, there's lots of different reasons for this. I see this as being really cut and dry. I think that this is almost Tuchel's version of a goalkeeping mistake. We've had moments in the past where a goalkeeper's dropped it in. And I'm thinking the year we lost to Croatia in the qualifiers, and I can't remember which goalkeeper it was, actually. Scott Carson, I think, in my head. Or other sort of big high profile errors where somebody's made a mistake and that's it. That's what's led to, penalty misses, similar situation. And I think this is Tuchel's moment.
Yeah.
I think he's made a gamble and he's just got it wrong.
He's got it wrong.
And there's not a great deal elsewhere to look. I think that the squad selection actually turned out to be, maybe apart from issues at right back, which we went through, but we were there. We were okay. Reece James had a great game, I thought, last night.
Absolutely.
We have looked in every single game that we've played. We've looked very much the team that's deserved to be at the semi-finals. And just for me, it's just one of those situations. It's sort of hinging on one moment around that hydration break and calls that were made. And
there's going to be a lot of anger. We talked about this earlier. There's going to be a lot of anger directed towards Tuchel here, isn't there? And I mean, personally, I think Tuchel can take it. To be fair, I think it's much better that anger be directed at Tuchel than some of our players, who would otherwise receive racial abuse.
Yes,
but at the same time, I think there's a lot of people that are saying, well, I never trusted a German manager.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that same sort of, divisive, sort of toxic mentality comes out anyway. No, I'm totally with you.
I did trust Tuchel.
I still do.
Absolutely. I think I trust him for the Euros or the World Cup after this. Because he made a mistake, and I think it's right that we criticise him for that, because that's a lesson learned. Hopefully,
Well, one of the
won't
things
happen
that
next,
Joe's
but-
also mentioned is that there's been news that basically today the FA have reinforced their belief in Tuchel, and
Well, that's good
he's
news.
not going anywhere. He's sticking around. He's contracted until after the Euros. Joe has actually commented and said, for what it's worth, I am delighted that Thomas Tuchel is sticking around.
Yeah.
He will win us the Euros. Great. That's the kind of blind optimism we need. Let's continue down the stages of grief. We've done denial. We've done anger. Bargaining. Were England hard done by, do you think, in this game?
I think certainly there were some fouls that probably should have been carded. What was it? It was, I think Elliot Anderson got like a punch to the back of the head at one point.
Yeah.
Right? And that seemed to me like an obvious yellow card. He also got stepped on.
So there was also, interestingly, the player that went down in France 98 after Beckham's kick, of course, the famous Diego Simeone, his son playing in this one.
No.
And his job seemed to just be essentially not focusing on playing football and just winding England up.
He was a real wind-up. I didn't know that was his son. Wow. Okay.
So there you go.
History repeats.
Very, very much so. There's also, Tom, there's been a little bit of sort of, I don't know how we would put this, unsavoury behaviour from the Argentinian players after the final whistle as well. Now, we're going to come on to talk about the flag situation, but immediately after the equalising goal, there's a video that's emerged of the bench running down to celebrate with the goal scorers in the corner, which is quite commonplace.
Standard.
But one of the substitutes essentially made a beeline for the England players and opted to essentially celebrate in front of the England players, in the faces of the England players. Again, really, just really unnecessary again.
Yeah.
And look, the question will be asked, well, would England players have done this if we'd have been,
I like to think not. I like to think because the way we played, we didn't try to wind up the Argentinian team. I like to think that we would have been more gracious in defeat. But I did see Jude Bellingham. I think he gave after the match gave somebody a smack around the head.
Well, it was to this particular player that had ran on to the pitch, and so I think he's sort of giving it back,
like,
so to speak. But also there was a sort of a bit of an unsavoury incident with a flag, wasn't there, in this one, Tom?
Yeah. So there's a lot of history in this matchup, as we know, in football terms, but also in world political terms, with the history of England or the United Kingdom and Argentina in the Falklands War. Obviously, a lot of people in Argentina firmly believe that the Falklands are Argentinian, and on the world stage, it belongs to the United Kingdom. And it may have been a conflict that was 40 years ago, but I mean, even England. There's a certain pride in that we own the Falklands, and it's an unhealthy pride, I'd say. But there's also a pride for Argentina that they deserve the Falklands. There was an Argentinian senator who said before the match that England are usurping pirates, stuff like that. And it's nasty comments that come from a place of national pride and anger. And what was held up was a banner that said, "The Falklands are Argentinian."
Yeah.
And here's where the bargaining comes in, is that I woke up this morning and I saw that, and I saw a headline that said Argentina to face penalties from that. And I thought...
not actual penalties.
No.
Gosh, can you imagine? Right, play it again, but just penalties.
Just do the penalty shootout.
Gosh.
But they're likely to receive a fine because they received a fine in 2014 in a friendly against Slovakia, where they for some reason held up a similar banner.
Yeah.
And I woke up this morning and I saw that and I thought, give it to England.
Yeah.
We're going to go through to the final. They're going to strip it away from them.
And look, like I think it's safe to say that there were things that went on in that game and afterwards that we're not particularly happy about, that were unsavoury. But I think also it would be unfair to say that Argentina didn't deserve this.
Yeah.
I think they're on the balance of it. Particularly that last half an hour, they were knocking on the door, they hit the post numerous times. But at that same time, it is really important for us to talk about these kind of things, the Argentinian Falklands situation. Interestingly, before the game, Scaloni, the Argentina manager, made a point of saying that no, we need to distinguish politics and football.
Absolutely.
And I think that's exactly right. And England have been guilty. England fans have been guilty over the years. Chants towards the Germany team, Argentina, others in the past of referencing
a proper wind-up.
So I think that it would be unfair to basically say, to start saying, well, come on, this isn't on,
But it is a shame to see that. You'd expect that coming from fans that are passionate and all, both fans on both sides are wind-ups, But to see it from the players is a bit of a shame. And I'm sure most of the Argentinian team weren't celebrating that banner, but it was held up in that group with the celebration going on behind them. And so it looks like it was a whole team effort, but I'm sure that wasn't the case, and it is a shame. But you know what? We need to let it go.
Hey, what's up, guys? Larry Henry Jr. dialing back in from Philadelphia. And first, I have to send my condolences on the English national team. A tough, painful way to go out against Argentina. I thought they had it in the bag. Jordan Pickford with a bunch of key saves down the stretch. But unfortunately, we see why Argentina are the defending World Cup champs, defending Copa America champs, and we see why England are still chasing a first World Cup since 1966. And I do like England to bounce back in the third place game and get the job done against France. And I also think Argentina will defeat Spain on Sunday at the World Cup final. I just think even though that Spain is the better overall team, you can never count Leo Messi out. You can never count this Argentina team out. So many important players that have won trophies for that team. And I like them to get the job done in New Jersey on Sunday. It's been great recapping it all with you. Thanks for the opportunity, guys. And hopefully we cross paths again in the near future. Signing off, Larry Henry.
Oh, Larry,
I know. It's just really sort of standing with us in solidarity.
Yeah.
I feel like our podcast has done more for the special relationship than any politicians have in the last few years. But yeah, we're grateful again for Larry's input there. What I would pick him up on is him talking about England getting the job done in the bronze final. Can I tell you, Larry? None of us care.
No, nobody wants this.
I won't be watching it.
I thought waking up this morning, I don't want to come into work. You can only imagine those England players being like, I don't want to play another match after this.
Send them home.
Yeah, let them go.
Let them go
their wounds.
Yeah, exactly. They should be on a plane right now, coming home. Maybe they can stick a few fans on in shirts.
Yeah, let's do that.
Fans that have got tickets for the final. Just good. Do you fancy playing
for England?
Yeah,
I'll take that deal.
Yeah,
actually,
good.
You know what, Ed? Sign me up.
Yeah. Well, we're going to look now at the fourth stage of grief, depression.
Oh, yeah.
Because this podcast is getting even more miserable by the minute.
Yeah. This is where I am now in the stages of grief. In my life, this is where I am now.
I think the questions we have to ask, are about what an opportunity this was, and is this a big opportunity wasted? But look, we haven't heard from Joe in a while. I wonder how he's doing. Now, here's the thing: is that after the last voice note, I didn't hear anything from Joe.
Oh no, that must have been worrying.
He messaged us after the goal, and then I heard nothing. Turns out his phone died.
Oh!
But this morning, Thursday morning, I received this.
Well, Ed, Tom, it's the morning after the night before. My phone ran out of battery just as quickly as England ran out of attacking desire, attacking want, attacking need. That was a shame, wasn't it? I feel like we scored, played well, and then just didn't do anything. We didn't do anything yet. There was a interesting amount of Argentinian fans actually showed up at the... Look, I don't want to make this all about the Swiss fan park that I spent the evening at. Lovely time, by the way. Shout out to Vevey for putting on such a lovely occasion. But all the Argentinian fans did come out of the woodworks eventually. There was about a 60-40 split in favour of English supporters, which was quite heartwarming to see the number of people supporting England last night. My wife wondered if it was to do with the data roaming agreement that we came up with yesterday. Not we. I didn't come up with that. I think the government did. My wife thought if maybe this was kind of a celebration of that. Anyway, it was heartwarming in a night of heartache. My heart was warmed by that until the final whistle, when clearly everyone just wasn't that bothered anymore, left immediately. I was stood there in my sorrow, contemplating what could have been, what should have been. I hope you found some joy in your evening.
I did not, Joe.
Well, I mean, you can just picture Joe, can't you? There,
I can.
It sounds like he's walking around some square in Geneva, trying to
Strip,
trying to find a coffee.
Yeah,
something.
He loves his coffee.
Something to
cheer him up.
Something to cheer him up. I think we can kind of joke about this sort of thing, but there are a lot of people who are going to be waking up this morning thoroughly miserable. Tom.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, what hopes we had. We talked about in the last podcast about not getting our hopes up for England, because that's, we always do it and it never goes well. But when it comes down to it, we will always get excited for an England game. We'll always think we can win because we deserve to win. Yeah. We have such a great team, and when we get let down, I'm experiencing this for the first time.
This is it. You are experiencing the sort of grim realities of an England fan. It's quite wonderful to see you experience it for the first time live in front of my eyes.
I've been fending off actual tears.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. I think this, it's something we should do as men. We should be honest about our emotions, and I have been more upset than I ever thought I would be about football.
Well, that's it. That's what this does to us. This is a massive opportunity wasted. Yeah. This is a really great England team with some extraordinary talent. Let's be honest, playing against a beatable Argentina. Yeah, we could have won that last night.
We showed that when we scored that first goal. They were beatable.
Yeah, and I think that's the frustration and where the sort of maybe this was our time. I think one of the big questions that we have to ask is, what does this mean for the team? I think, like, broadly speaking, it's quite a young team. The big sort of question is, I think, really is around the likes of Harry Kane. Yeah. Will he be at the next tournament? He is currently 32.
So 36 in 4 years.
So he'll be 36 when it comes around. The way that Kane's game has dramatically improved since he's turned 30 probably is quite a good sign.
Yeah,
that he can probably, he doesn't need the legs, so to speak, anymore. So he could well still be at that top level in a few years' time. So who knows?
I think if Tuchel's still managing the squad in 2030, I don't think it's certain that he'll be there. I think we've seen it with this squad this year, is that he has made cutting decisions that we wouldn't expect, and I think Harry Kane could be on that. I think Harry Kane will go for it though, and I think he could retain his form. I mean, we've seen Messi at 39 playing like he's never played before, or looking like he's 20 again, and the form of Harry Kane at the moment shows that he could be there.
The other thing I think as well, it's safe to say, is that what does this mean for the country? Because we were talking earlier about the sort of mixing of politics and football, which is just inevitable. It does happen, much to the frustration of people who don't care about football
or politics.
But I think there's a sense that it is fair to say that we are quite a divided country at the moment, and actually that football, I think, probably in equal parts has the potential to be good and bad for countries' unity while we're still in it. It's an incredibly unifying experience, and then all of a sudden that's gone. And that kind of that
And I think, when you talk about just what could have been, the opportunity that's lost, imagine how much good it would have done for our nation. I mean, for England,
yes,
not necessarily for the rest of our nation.
Exactly. And I think that brings us on to the final stage of grief in the sort of generally accepted 5 stages of grief.
I'm really looking forward to this one.
Which is acceptance.
I can't wait for it.
Do you know what I mean? And it's this sense of perspective, isn't it? And I think that's ultimately it, is that let's take a step back, let's take a breath. And it's really difficult to do this the day after England have been knocked out. But let's look at the tournament as a whole. Let's look at what this means for England. Like, can I be honest? Mexico is probably the greatest night of my life as an England fan.
I felt so amazed at England after watching Mexico. I've been saying this, and to be fair, I've been all talk. I've been saying, you know what, England getting past Mexico, that's enough. That was fantastic. And now it's actually come down to it. I was like, I wish we could have gone the whole way.
Of course.
Like, they were phenomenal.
But it was a really great night. And what I would say is that sort of as an England fan, often all you have is just remember that night against. Yes. It's the 0-0 against Italy that meant that we qualified for France '98. It's the draw against Greece, the David Beckham free kick at Old Trafford. It's those moments that you go, yeah, but remember then. And I think that game against Mexico was one of those moments. I
can't wait to be in my 40s. Maybe I've got kids and I can tell them now. When I was 22,
I remember staying up.
I stayed up till 4 a.m. I had to come in work the next day, but I was not going to miss it.
Yeah, and that's it. I think it's remembering like that. Actually, I think on the balance, this has been a good tournament for England. Yes, of course, there's been games where we've scraped through, but we've also shown really great pride, great togetherness as a team. Like I said, I think Tuchel has been outstanding.
Yeah,
I think he has got the big decision wrong here last night, and that's cost us. But I think if you look at the tournament as a whole, I don't think we go as far without Tuchel's, tactical awareness and the choices he's made.
I mean, we will look back on this and go, what a successful year that was for England. Making it to the semis. We haven't made it to the semis since
2018. Yeah.
Well, and then before that, a long time.
But it's only been the 4th time in our history that we've got to the semi-finals, and we were, and it felt so close. We were minutes away from getting to the final. The other thing when we're talking about perspective, though, Tom, is that we also have to talk about, like, yes, England in their tournament, but we also have to put football in its place as well, don't we? Is that, of course, it's common that we're going to feel, a bit upset the day after England get knocked out, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm certainly not in there. Well, it's just a game, camp. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this whole podcast. But it is worth saying that there are things bigger than football, and that, looking at the sort of the bigger issues. We spoke about this in our World Cup special, that when England get knocked out of a knockout game in the World Cup, domestic violence goes up by over 30%, and awful other things like that. And I just think that it's really important for us to put football in its right place, and something that we are so passionate about, of course, but just reminding ourselves that we still have to act like human beings with integrity and all of that sort of stuff. Football is not an excuse for poor behaviour in any sense. We keep saying it. It's the most important of the least important things, and I think that's really, really key. The thing that I want to finish on, though, Tom, is that we've talked about the 5 stages of grief in this episode, somewhat tongue in cheek. But I think that as Christians, we need to remember that actually we have this extra thing as well, which is the hope in Jesus, the hope found in Jesus. And that sort of goes on to this bigger discussion of how we can use that hope during times of grief, during times that, where we're upset, where we may be battling with things like depression or anger. And actually, hope. There's an incredible verse in Romans 5. And I think this sums up the England experience, right?
Fantastic.
So in Romans 5, from halfway through verse 2, it says, "And we boast in the hope of the glory of God. Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance character, and character hope, and hope that does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured out into our hearts through the Holy Spirit." And I think that middle bit there about suffering producing perseverance, perseverance character, character hope, that's it, is that England fans know what it is like to suffer. That's basically all that we've been through. And actually, like, what does that mean? It means that we persevere, we keep going. We have the character of knowing that our failings don't define us as a footballing nation or as a nation in general. And actually, as well, that character means that we have hope for the next time. And you know what? I cannot wait for the Euros in 2 years.
That's going to be brilliant.
It will be here. It will be in the UK.
Fantastic.
And we will be singing all of the "It's Coming Home" nonsense over again. And you know what? I think that people get, like, there's a bit of derision there, you know, like maybe from other nations more, but there's a bit of, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. We're going to have blind hope. I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Let's go in again with that sense of, well, maybe this is our year. There's something quite beautiful about that, isn't
That's
there?
how you enjoy it. And that's how I've gotten into football, apparently. It's like, I just want to hope, and imagine after that hope that it comes true, that it feels real. Imagine how amazing we'll feel, how warm we'll feel, and keeping hold of that, I think, is what's going to drive us through the Euros. It's going to drive us through any competition after that. It's going to drive us through the Women's World Cup next year in Brazil.
Exactly.
We've got a great chance. I can't wait to watch that. I just, as exhausting as this massive World Cup has been, I'm so excited for more World Cup, more national football.
Well, I think it's probably time, isn't it, Tom, it's probably time for us to turn off the "It's Coming Home" light that has literally just appeared.
It's such bad timing.
this week.
Thank you to Samuel Ball for buying it for us. UCT Samuel
We've
Ball.
literally turned it on and we're going to turn it off again. But also, as well, just to say, there's going to be an episode out next week where we're going to talk about the final. I'm going to be reporting live from a North Wales caravan park.
Joe will be back.
Joe will be back. Yeah. You will be here,
I'll
of course. And of course, there'll be other episodes coming out after the World Cup as well of the Big Man Up Top. So just because the World Cup's over doesn't mean there won't be items in your feed. So please do keep an eye out on your feed and on the Big Man Up Top socials as well. Absolutely. At Big Man Up Top Pod on Instagram and YouTube. And of course, what have we got to look forward to? The start of the new season in August, Tom.
I've got to pick a Premier League team, Ed.
Football just starts again.
It never ends.
It never ends.
Football all the time.
It never ends. But thank you so much for listening to us during this World Cup. Still more stuff to come. Keep an eye out on socials and on the feeds. But yeah, get in touch with us. podcasts@ucb.co.uk. And yeah, there's going to be a new episode next week, isn't there, Tom? And hopefully it'll be less depressing.
Definitely. We'll have come through acceptance and hope by then.
Okay. See you later.
See you later.
Should we turn the light off?
I think we should turn the light off.
Can we have a countdown, Tom?
Yeah. Like the kickoff for every World Cup game. 5, 4.
Come on, hurry up.
3, 2, 1.
That was so
final.
Oh, England.
My heart. Bye, Ed.
Bye.